What's going on, guys? My name is Qihang. I'm here with Miguel today for another round of North London podcast.
Yeah, welcome back. It's good to be back. I'm excited to talk about this week. So let's just start with our match recap from the last game that happened. So do you want to talk about West Ham versus Spurs?
Of course. As you can probably tell by the smile on my face today, game went very well. But to be perfectly honest with you, if we play every match like we did against West Ham, we should be pretty set for the rest of the season. Because of certain situations in the beginning of the season, every game from now on is a must win. But the type of intensity, the type of attack, not just head over heels, headless attack. You also have defense as well. That sort of intensity, you just gotta keep up, for the rest of our games. The way we press them consistently, and then drop back to defend too as well. They have both sides of that. It's very good. And things were looking a little scary towards the end of the second half, but we recovered and we topped the game off with another goal. That aside, I think we can all agree that Son is finding his way back into form. 2 goals and an assist. It was just an overall very stellar performance from him as compared to his previous games. So a lot of positive things coming from him.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say.
You didn't even watch the game. So
no, I didn't watch the game. It just seemed like
you can't speak on it,
It just seemed like a simple win.
Simple win. It's 3-1.
It's
3-1.
It's good.
What the 4-3-3 caption was: Spurs hammer the hammers. All right, come on.
It's a good performance from you guys.
It's better than a 1-0 scrape they did against Villa.
Well, so our game against Aston Villa, we got a pretty fluky goal, but the overall performance is just all around good. There's nothing else to say. Aston Villa never got their footing. Also looked like they were playing at home. The crowd definitely sounded like they were playing at home because it was just very loud on the screen. It was just a nice win, and you can't ask for more as an Arsenal fan. You just have a normal win without any drama, which is something we haven't been used to since Arsene Wenger.
I think
especially Unai Emery, he conditioned us to not have any reasonable or normal games. So it was good to see Arteta show one normal win that wasn't scary. Rob Holding in the back for the final 5 minutes, a bit. I like the 5 in the back normally. The game it didn't help us that much. It still kept them goalless and burned Leno to come back and have a good performance like he did. Just from real maturity. So I'm just happy with the squad. It was a good overall win.
They have Cedric in their back four and they still somehow won. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he played decently. It was just a good win. I think both our teams just played well this week. There's no drama. It was just a good win.
Well, I summed their performance up in one word: mid.
I think we got
3 points for each of us.
Exactly.
3 points is 3 points, man.
Exactly.
But I just want to reiterate before, every game for Spurs now needs to be a win. Even against Liverpool. Obviously, might not be expecting one, but it should definitely be a win. But that's for another time. Obviously, we'll do another podcast for when that's coming up. For now, we do want to talk a little bit about the transfer rumors. Now we're on to transfer rumors. I heard there's been a lot of rumors going around a certain Nunez from Benfica.
Yeah, young Uruguayan player, strong, fast. There's not much else you want.
Uruguayan players are good, Just look at the Bentancur.
Don't joke. We wouldn't actually but he fits the more than we want. A good tall striker. I think 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, I know.
Fast. He's just perfect for what Arsenal want. It's going to be expensive, obviously, because he's coming from Benfica.
Anybody coming from Portugal is expensive.
Yeah. But I've seen in the past with Man City's purchases how good a player from specifically that Benfica squad can be with Ruben Diaz and, it's that kind of player we need, a strong player, vocal player that can just bag us a bunch of goals.
That's the goal here, right? You need that young replacement. Maybe he'll be more consistent for you than he was.
Well,
So
hopefully,
we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. I mean, like, hey, we know Lacazette doesn't do anything up there, so maybe somebody else.
Like I said, oh God, I wish he was a good goal scorer, but he's not. But he's a good. He's a good.
He just doesn't cut it. He doesn't cut it. Yeah. Class it as a number 9.
He's a great backup striker, I will say.
Okay, good support role.
Or like a secondary striker. If we play like 4-4-2.
Maybe even a false 9.
Maybe like a false 9, but he just doesn't cut it right now. And Diaz just seems like that perfect build.
He's young too, right? Isn't he like?
I don't know. I know he's
in his early 20s.
I think he's 21.
Yeah, it can't be that old. But no, we'll see.
Yeah, he's like. He's what I think we wanted from Vlahovic, but like in a different mold.
Essentially, you say it's a lot of discount Vlahovic. But they're gonna play Vlahovic prices for some untested Uruguayan youth.
Well, to be fair, from his stats, he has better passing stats, better playmaking stats than Vlahovic. Vlahovic is obviously a more.
You want a more clinical finisher.
Yeah.
Like, you have Odegaard for the passes and the playmaking.
But in our role right now, the way we play, you see Lacazette as that like playmaking striker.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he can't score goals, so we just need a playmaking striker that can score goals. Vlahovic would have been that centerpiece that we played around, but with Nunez, he can be almost a dynamic striker.
Okay, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I mean, honestly, I prefer someone more tactical, somebody who's just a better finisher overall. It's the guy who receives the ball and actually finishes and puts it in the goal.
Well, Nunez also has that great goal scoring ability and like the history. He has a bunch of goals to his name. Obviously, he's in a worse league than Vlahovic was, which is the Serie A. He plays in obviously Portuguese league, but still, like you can only play against your opponent. You can't play against better players, and he's doing the business. He's in the Champions League, he's scoring goals.
Yeah. He's getting the involvement and he's being in touch with these players and the skills and everything like that. So no, definitely.
I think it's a great purchase if we can pull it off.
If you pull it off, I mean, yeah. Then again, you guys are going to be dropping 60 million pounds, but you did drop that much on Ben White, so yeah.
And Ben White's been fantastic for us.
All right,
so
hey. We'll see. He's on form. I'll give you that. Yeah, for the record, he's on form. But we'll see all on that last score. Okay, a little bit more towards about
your side. I don't know, transfer-wise.
Yeah, I was kind of confused. I actually ran across this this morning. I was confused. A lot of rumors and sources talking about how Spurs are interested in Memphis Depay from Barcelona. Really, I don't really know what to make of it. I mean, the dude literally just left for Barcelona. Now we're going to sign him from them. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, like, he can be a good player. There's potential in there, right? But I don't feel like Spurs, really. Depay is more of a Kulusevski kind of character. He plays more of that position, that forward position. And, I feel like he doesn't really suit Tottenham really well. I mean, I get the fact that, you want maybe a backup striker, or perhaps, people talking about how this is the end of Harry Kane at Tottenham.
That's what I think it is. But like a Harry Kane replacement rather than.
I don't think you have to be so morbid for now. If I'm being honest with you. Harry Kane's future at Tottenham is still, it hasn't been confirmed to be finished at the end of the season. A top 4 finish or a European league or a European competition guaranteed for next season could still, guarantee him staying as well. So that and the fact that are Man City willing to pay the hefty price tag for Harry Kane?
Yeah, I think his value has dropped a little bit.
It's dropped for sure, but I don't think it's below 100 million pounds.
No, for sure not.
Yeah, and I'm just not sure. With Haaland, I'm sure they'd rather spend the same or similar amount of money on Haaland rather than Harry Kane.
Yeah.
He's younger, and I feel like he fits the more profile of the student they're looking for. Then again, Harry Kane is a Premier League seasoned striker. But there's a lot of factors at play, and you can't say for certain. But we definitely can't discount the fact that they aren't looking at alternatives for Harry Kane, or perhaps, in my opinion, I feel like they just want a sort of backup cushion for him to take his place if by chance Harry Kane does get injured, right?
Yeah. Well, the Depay purchase would be interesting. It almost seems like they wanted a second generation of Jermaine Defoe. So like that shorter striker who's fast,
Yeah.
a bit of ability,
Okay.
who can score goals. I don't know. I think it just doesn't seem like a very smart purchase.
Also,
it seems like a cautionary purchase, just like
cautionary, right. Now, I feel like if we're talking about it in those regards, we should definitely be more cautious about the price tag and the fees involved with this, because honestly, I can't see us spending more than 15, 20 million pounds on this guy. Yeah. But with that being said, mentioning Jermaine Defoe, big, congratulations, and just to all the Spurs fans out there for Jermaine Defoe was recently retired out of professional football. He spent a good few seasons with Tottenham, made his impression there.
Good. I don't know about good.
Good. This guy's just poking holes and everything. This is getting in the way, But Jermaine Defoe, Tottenham legend, you will never be forgotten. But moving on from that, in addition to Depay, we also have rumors about Dele supposedly being cut from Everton at the end of the season. Now, to clarify for those of you out there, Dele left technically on a free transfer from Tottenham at the end of the January window, under the condition that if Everton decides to keep him, and if they decide that he is,
playing well, based on the contract, right? If he starts playing well, Tottenham will receive like reparations or just like. There's no transfer fee, but there would be a transfer fee.
Would be a fee of 40 million pounds.
Up to 40 million.
Up to 40 million pounds if Everton decide that he is good, or if he has proven himself at Everton. So far, in about 10 or so appearances, he's only made less than 169 minutes on the field. Has not really impressed. And if I'm being honest with you, Dele is not the thing that Lampard needs to get Everton out of their current relegation battle. And so things are not looking good for him. There's chances are he might be released at the end of the season, which is something that's truly sad. Somebody who was worth 110 million pounds or dollars. Yeah, it's about 2-3 years ago.
I mean, he's still 25 years old.
Yeah.
You can't throw him out yet, but
it might be seen a Mario Balotelli kind of situation, huh?
Yeah, maybe. Better like a work scale too.
On a much quicker scale too. Oh my God! From playing in the Champions League final to being benched on Everton. It's quite a contrast, a jarring contrast. Moving on though, for happier things.
To our topic of the week.
Topic of the week, which will be displayed after these important messages. All right, so on to our topic of the week. This week we'll be discussing our votes for the Premier League Hall of Fame inductees. Now,
do you want to start who you picked and why?
Who I picked and why?
Yeah.
Well,
first, congratulations, Patrick Vieira and Wayne Rooney.
Big shout out, congratulations. Definitely well deserved. Two very, very important players in the history of the Premier League. I say Wayne Rooney deserved, more, maybe like a higher spot than Vieira, right? But that's not to discount the fact that both are our Premier League legends.
Yeah. Okay. But obviously both very influential in the sport.
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney, many goals for Manchester United. Was that young kid, almost that figure for Manchester United for many years.
So iconic.
Yeah, and then Patrick Vieira, just all around fantastic player. Almost like that, like Yaya Toure, that player before Yaya Toure, to fit that like large, strong player, but also have that playmaking ability to attack.
Yeah.
Obviously, you knew how to defend.
This is gonna be a fun episode with him right here. A lot of fond memories.
Yeah, I mean, great. I mean, both great players.
And in 10 years, we'll be voting Harry Kane on the list.
No.
No. Son too as well.
Yeah,
I guarantee you.
Okay, so let's go on.
You guys heard it from us first. So going on to our picks, I guess I go first.
Yeah, sure.
Number one pick, we got Les Ferdinand. We gotta pick him. Come on, man. He's really pretty key, influential player for Tottenham in the early 2000s. Good impact, good striker. He was there for the team when the team wasn't that good yet. Let's be honest with you. Tottenham in the early 2000s, we're still, developing, still relatively mid-table. So for him to score, 30 or something goals in his 100 appearances is still decent. But what's more impressive, though, and probably one of the more important reasons why I put him on the list, is his outstanding performance on Newcastle, scoring 40-something odd goals in only 60 appearances. That is intensely impressive, and to this day, I feel like it's still unbeaten in the number of appearances it took for him to score that many goals. So honestly, I think that's very impressive. So he takes the number one spot for me. After that, definitely Teddy Sheringham. I feel like as a key figurehead for United for more than 2 decades, for 15 years. I can't do math. I mean, really, really, really impressive player in the midfield, and just overall very good, very good. Let's see. After that, we're gonna have to go with Van Persie. I have to say it saddens me to pick him really, but his contributions and his just overall appearances and for both Arsenal and United throughout the years, and as just that playmaker, the figure on the field, like really is somebody that I really consider deserving of a spot. And moving on from this, I believe Drogba deserves a place on this list. Miguel disagrees.
We'll get to my.
We'll get to his, yeah. But for now, even as a Tottenham fan, seeing this player on the starting lineup for Chelsea is quite something to be scared of. He's just that kind of iconic figure on the field, that sort of dominating presence in a number 9 spot, clinical goal scorer, clinical playmaker, and ultimately not just a Chelsea legend, but a huge impact in the Premier League as well. After that, we can't discount the fact that Vincent Kompany definitely deserves a spot on the list. Absolute game changer for City. He was there with them when they were still struggling to make a mid-table spot in the league, and led them on to becoming one of the top teams in the whole league. And somebody who's there in the influential position of a center back, leading the squad with them. That is just something that is impressive and definitely deserving of a spot in the Hall of Fame. Finally, we can't, leave out Van der Sar. Obviously, as seen as a previous inductees, were all either midfielders or forwards. You feel that
you need a goalkeeper.
You need a goalkeeper, and what better than Van der Sar? A decade long of experience, a consistent, rock solid goalkeeping for United. I mean, listen, I don't like United as much as the next guy over here. But really seeing him in goal, against Tottenham, it's just really, really repulsive and really, really disgusting. But you can't deny the fact that he's consistent for United. He's always been there for them. And I feel that he definitely deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame as well.
All right. Well, here we have 4 differences in our list.
Quite a lot.
Which is crazy, but
it makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
So starting off with my list, I think I have to go with Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole is probably, I'd say, the best left back of all time, or him, or Roberto Carlos. Just Ashley Cole was fantastic defensively, both for the Invincibles and for Chelsea. And it sucks how we left Arsenal for the money, of course, but I can't deny
Why
how.
would you say Arsenal? Why?
Well, we just went on that invincible run, which is, Premier League trophies. Oh, I'm sorry.
That was a terrible joke. That was terribly executed.
It's okay.
Oh my God! Stop squeezing my arm.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I understand you're upset that you don't have trophies. It's
so
all right. You never feel a touch of a trophy. It's just so sad.
Me, why would I be feeling the touch of a Premier League trophy? I don't play for it.
Well, as a Spurs fan, not even like a replica of the Spurs trophy.
He wishes. I'm telling you. Like he's gonna be crying about this still when this team is like barely making it out of the relegation zone.
Above you
of the champions, about the championship. Of the championship.
Sure. Okay.
Anyways, for now.
Ashley Cole, fantastic player. Can't deny it. One of the world's best players, arguably the world's best left back of all time. And I don't think you can deny that from the Premier League.
Undeniably good.
Undeniably fantastic. Next, I'll go on my list, Petr Cech. I think you have to put him in if you're going to put a goalkeeper in.
Notice how both these players play for Chelsea as well as Arsenal. We all know what a better team is.
Anyways, let's go on to the individual players because that's more important. Peruchek, I think, has the most clean sheets about any Premier League goalkeeper. It's just undeniable how fantastic he was, especially for Chelsea. A little less so for Arsenal, but still fantastic. I think it's undeniable how good he was, and I think he deserves to be the first goalkeeper to be inducted into the Hall of Fame for the Prem. So going on next, you've already mentioned before, Vincent Kompany. I think Vincent Kompany embodies the new era of the Premier League. And that flashy center back who could play from the back. Just the embodiment of what Man City wants to be,
real big game changer for them.
A big game changer, won them Premier Leagues. You just can't deny how influential Vincent Kompany was. And more so, just the embodiment of Vincent Kompany and Man City was to the new era of the Premier League. So I put Vincent Kompany as my third most deserving player to go into the Hall of Fame. Next, alongside him, you have to have John Terry, Mr. Chelsea himself. I just think not only how good John Terry was for Chelsea, obviously I'm admiring Chelsea defensively because Chelsea have been one of the best defensive teams of all time, especially in the Premier League. You just think of Jose Mourinho's Chelsea, how many clean sheets they have, how few goals
when Jose Mourinho was actually, his tactics actually worked.
When he was fantastic.
Yeah.
You have to admire how good Chelsea was defensively, not only for the whole Jose Mourinho era, but for how long they've been. You think of John Terry as being that solid center back, the captain for Chelsea for 20 years. And I don't think he can be discouraged, let off your list if you're thinking of Premier League from 1992. He's been there more than half of that era and been a solid member.
Consistent presence.
Consistently good. Yeah. What was that, 4 already? Yeah, that's 4.
I can't keep track.
Fifth on that list has to be Van Persie. Arsenal wonder kid. Then betrayed us. Sadly, a history of betraying Arsenal in this list.
Consistently happens.
Well, don't get too excited. Sol Campbell's going there eventually, and you can't be too happy about that.
Simon Kane's gonna be remembered for Tottenham for his contribution. You can't deny that. You can't deny that. He's the quickest person to get 100 goals, 200 goals, or not 200 goals. I'm sorry, he will be though.
Yeah, well, hopefully he'll go to a better team. And then
okay.
be remembered that instead of Spurs.
So, what a joke.
If I could put Jack Wilshere on this list, I would.
Okay. Enough jokes.
Van Persie has to be there. You already talked about him.
Right.
Just a fantastic striker, influential for the league for over a decade. Came up through Arsenal, was fantastic for Arsenal. Our captain, just a hero on the front line, and then obviously won the trophies with Manchester United and the focal point of their
kids
attack.
today are still wearing his jerseys. You know?
Yeah.
The other day, I was walking by this 13-year-old kid, bro. He had a Van Persie jersey on. It was like a disgusting United jersey. And it was like holes. No, it's actually an old jersey. Like you can see the faded letters on the back. Van Persie. Like still influential today.
Yeah. And then finally, my 6th player on this list, who I voted for, was Sergio Aguero. I just think his goal record speaks for itself. How many goals and how little games, how few minutes, how many goals. Like, it's just, he's the epitome of the modern striker, that fast, quick, ball-playing striker who comes up with moments of brilliance. From the first year he joined the Premier League till when he retired just last year, he's just been consistently good, consistently the striker that you want on your team.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, it's a shame what happened to him at Barcelona, but before then, for a decade, he just was there for his city the entire time. Really made watching the Premier League really fun.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that his injury ended his career a little bit early. But we'll be looking forward to seeing Kane beat his record soon.
Sure.
Yeah, this guy thinks he's funny. All right. Anyways, with that, I mean,
that's who we have on our list.
Yeah. Be sure to comment, what you guys think.
Yeah. Who you guys voted for?
Yeah.
Which list you think is better out of us too?
Yeah.
And we're gonna go on to one player we don't think deserves to be in the top 25 of the list to vote for. So I think I already have the person I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead.
Ian Wright, right?
No. Ian Wright is a legend. I think I'm gonna have to go for Ruud van Nistelrooy. Now, of course he was good. Of course he was fantastic.
Van Nistelrooy was a legend.
He's a legend
for Real Madrid, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the issue. Is I don't remember him as being the face of the Premier League.
When I think of Van Nistelrooy, I think of him in the Real Madrid jersey.
Yeah,
I've seen him in a United jersey. I've seen it before, but it seems almost unusual.
I just see him either in a Dutch jersey or a Madrid jersey. You know, I don't see him in that Manchester United jersey.
Precisely.
He wasn't there. He was only there for what, 5 years?
Something like that, yeah. Whereas everybody else I think was there for at least like 10
a decade,
years or so.
Yeah.
Just his presence in the Premier League itself was not long enough for him to, I feel like, be a good part of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, sure, he did great things. Sure, he was insane for United, but I feel that he was more so for Madrid. And if this was a La Liga Hall of Fame, I'd probably consider him.
I don't even know, because I don't think he was that long for Real Madrid either.
A few seasons, right?
He's a few seasons. Same thing with Manchester United. It's almost like it sucks that he was so good that he hopped around. So he can't be that signature staple.
I feel like he can't be.
He
can't be a serious opponent. You know, to everyone else on this list. You know, people here have dedicated their entire career to the Premier League and to the teams they play for in the Premier League. Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, you know, someone who hopped around more like Mr. Van Nistelrooy can, you know, not very well qualified for such a high honor in the league.
Well, maybe in the future, but as of right now, I think almost everybody else on this list, including our picks, deserve more. They deserve to be,
with the exception of Ian Wright.
Deserve to be there, and they're more they're more qualified for the Premier League Hall of Fame.
Yeah, definitely. Something that one of the few things that we both agree on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, you know, we're going to talk a little bit more. We're going to close off with this session with a match preview for our games upcoming. We'll get back to you after these messages. All right. So with that, you know, we're going to talk about our match previews. Who's excited for the World Cup qualifiers, right? I know this kid isn't.
I don't know. Something about South American World Cup qualifiers is just so much better than every other place. I think
it's fun to watch. I'll give you that.
It's just South America is so even after Argentina and Brazil that every team is clawing out for those last 3 places, and you don't see that in Europe. Obviously, the top echelon always goes, and you have 2 or 3 upsets, but it's not that much. Then you have Asia, the same 4 or 5 countries go every year.
More so, yeah, exactly.
Poor New Zealand is stuck by themselves, and Africa more or less is about the same. North America is getting spicy these last few World Cups, but still,
I see our Africa is pretty intense. I'm not gonna lie, after watching AFCON, you know, I'm not gonna lie, this is the first year watching AFCON, and that shit is intense.
Yeah, but I'm saying qualifying wise, it's not as crazy, I'd say.
I say because there's so much fewer teams in South America. Yeah, you really get to see these teams and know them on a personal level.
And every team plays each other all the time. So you have the World Cup qualifying, and then you have Copa America, where they all play each other all in a circle. So there's only 18 games, so that makes it even better. 18 games over 4 years. You have these teams who have a history of fighting each other, both historically and on the field. Yeah, I just think it makes it better.
Definitely allows for a very intense game, very fun game to watch. You know, people often say, you know, I'm falling asleep watching this game. You know, I don't think you can do that with a common ball game. You know, it doesn't happen.
So, anyways, obviously it's the international break, so we're gonna talk about some World Cup qualifying games that we are looking at. Me specifically, I think I've been super intense.
Huge Peru fan.
Yeah. So let's just jump right into it. The first games we have are the CONMEBOL games, as we're going to talk about in the South American World Cup qualifying. So obviously, it's a tight scenario. The first 4 teams already qualified. You have Brazil, Argentina, Ecuador, who've been playing fantastic.
Insane, right?
Uruguay, who's already qualified with this last win against Peru. Controversial.
That tanker was amazing, guys.
Nah, it was.
It was all right. It was all right.
It was an even game, to be honest.
I'm glad he didn't get injured. Holy fuck! If he got injured, I would have been so pissed.
But anyways, there's only one half spot left. And it's between Peru, Colombia, Chile. Chile have the worst game of them all. Yeah. They play Uruguay. It doesn't look like they're going to go through. They're 2 points behind.
It's a shame, really, to see Alexis Sanchez's team going out like
that. I hate Chile, so I'm happy that they're not going.
Well, like, you hate Alexis Sanchez?
Well, I feel bad for him not being as good as he was.
Well, he's Chilean, so...
Yeah, but he's Chilean, so... And then Colombia has a pretty easy game against Venezuela. They're playing in Venezuela, so it might be harder. And those games are huge rivalry games.
I'm sure.
Historically.
Yeah.
Venezuela always plays a good game against Colombia, but they're just not that good. Like when you have Solomon Rondon as your best player, it's kind of hard to like beat a good team.
Davinson Sanchez is on the bench, making that sort of a riot, It's really hard to stop. But honestly, more serious note, I could see this game draw to a 1-1 draw. And if Peru, gets 3 points against Paraguay, then they seal themselves, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a big game. It's in Lima, Peru, in this national stadium against Paraguay. Not a great Paraguay squad. I think they're second to last on the table.
Yeah.
No chance of qualifying. Peru needs a win. Then they'll qualify into the international World Cup qualifying.
Yeah.
And I think...
You want to describe the situation there? What happens if they do clinch that half spot?
Basically, because South America has a half spot, they play against the Asian third place team that qualifies to international qualifying. So that could be between Australia, the United Arab Emirates, and Iraq. It's the winner of Iraq game coming up, the winner of the
UAE. It's called the UAE.
The UAE. It's just a long name.
Yeah.
The UAE, depending on how the table works out, the third place team in their group plays against Australia. Whoever wins that game plays against Peru to qualify for the World Cup.
Essentially, what he's saying is that either they're going to be playing UAE, Iraq, or Australia in order to officially gain this
That's if Peru wins. We need Peru to win.
We'll definitely like to see them win the World Cup. Sure. It'll be something very interesting to see. But overall, I'd say your chances are pretty good.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good for at least the World Cup qualifying.
Yeah.
With the international stage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just going to be scary because Colombia obviously has a pretty easy game against Venezuela. So we need to win our game as a team because we only have we're only 1 point ahead of them.
And damn well Paraguay's gonna be looking for those points just
to
fight you guys.
Just to spite us.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it happens.
All right. Yeah. In terms of, the US of A, currently playing Panama right now.
Yeah.
You got any updates on the scoreline?
I don't know, actually. Let me search it up real quick.
Yeah.
But anyways, their next game
is against Costa Rica.
And that's going to be a super important game.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, you want to see us in the World Cup. See our presence there.
USA winning 4-0 against Panama.
That's looking pretty good against Panama.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to hear.
Obviously, Costa Rica is going to be more tough.
Yeah.
But if I'm being perfectly honest with you, I see ourselves comfortable winning the next game as well.
Yeah.
This is a very, very strong USA side. You got my hometown boy, Tyler Adams. Shout out to Poughkeepsie. Shout out to Wappingers. But really, it's a very good squad. It's very solid. They work very well together. And I feel like, if the US of A puts up a very, very good squad, they work well together. Honestly, they can put up a threat even against Mexico.
Yeah.
And even though despite the 0-0 draw.
Such a bore fest, to be honest. It's terrible.
Despite that, I feel that on another day, the US could scrape the win against them too.
Yeah. Now, interesting to that, on the score update, Mexico was tying 0-0 against El Salvador.
Oh, right.
Which means, against Honduras, which is the last place in the CONCACAF qualifiers, which means if Costa Rica gets points, Mexico could be out of the World Cup, which would be crazy to think about.
That would be insane.
So
explain to you more about that structure there.
So basically in CONCACAF, the first 3 teams automatically qualify for the World Cup, and the the fourth place team comes to the half, and they play against the winner of the Oceanic region. So the Oceanic region, obviously, always won by New Zealand.
It's a crazy team. I mean, the New Zealand squad never disappoints.
Yeah, exactly.
New Zealand to the finals of the World Cup. Come on.
They're always, that representative of that area. Not many other countries in the area, to be fair.
Yeah.
So it's the fourth place team that qualifies. Now, Panama has been pretty good up to this point, but they've
being thrashed by the US.
They've been tanking, I think, these last 4 or 5 games, which sucks for them.
Yeah.
But it makes it easier for USA. It makes it easier for Canada, who've been fantastic.
Oh man!
So it looks like those 2 teams are going to be qualified automatically. Now, for that third spot, that is Mexico's to lose, and it's looking like Mexico might lose it if they don't score more against Honduras. If they start slipping up, Costa Rica could hop them. Right. So it could be a big game for Costa Rica as well.
Yeah.
Against USA, it just all depends. And if they don't, they might slip down to that fourth spot.
It will be pretty jarring if Mexico goes out of the World Cup. That would be pretty insane. Almost as shocking as Italy, right?
Yeah.
But how about that game, everybody? Oh my God, North Macedonia is giant killing out there. Second World Cup in a row that Italy has failed to qualify for. Absolutely heartbreaking,
From European Championship to not even making the
Euro Cup champions.
Yeah.
That's quite insane. But overall, in terms of qualifying for the UEFA side, you have North Macedonia, our little winners over there, pitted against Portugal. Now it'd be pretty insane to see them pull that one off.
Yeah, I think Portugal's going to win. I think
as much as I like to see North Macedonia at the World Cup, it's going to be pretty difficult.
Yeah, I mean, Ronaldo's especially going to show out his last World Cup.
He plays against North Macedonia like he played against Tottenham. Well, we should be seeing like a 6-0 win, easy, right? Anyways, besides that, Poland, we have played against Sweden. If I'm being honest with you, I'm kind of biased, between Kulusevski. Obviously, you don't want him injured or anything, but we want to see him doing well. So, it'd be pretty good to see them have a good showing against Poland.
Yeah, I think this should be a good game. Lewandowski obviously is Polish.
Yeah,
royalty. And then Sweden has just an all-around good team.
Yeah, Forsberg, Isak.
Exactly.
Olsen,
Elanga. Become that good player for Sweden and for Manchester United.
Really, you just see a lot of upcoming talent and a lot of established talent as well. And the Swedish team, I feel like could have a pretty good time in Poland. And in a few years might even become a consistent presence in the World Cup. And then lastly, we have Wales, who are
playing Ukraine, and that game won't happen for a while because of the Ukraine war, obviously. Hopefully everything turns out well.
Hopefully we have to fix ourselves soon. Say no to invasion. But with that being said, I believe that is everything we have to say for today. So tune in for another episode of North London Pod. My name is Qihang. This is Miguel, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Peace.